Welcome to the Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love, one founded on faith, family, freedom, and fun. I'm your host, Julie Ross, creator of the award-winning homeschool curriculum, A Gentle Feast, and a certified Christian life coach. For more information on today's episode and to access my free gift for you, check out thefeastlife.me. Charlotte Mason once said, "Life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time." So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. Girl, grab your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You are welcome at this table. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Feast Life. I'm your host, Julie Ross. And today it's going to be me. And I'm going to be talking to you about some of my tips for homeschooling while running your own home-based business. So most of you probably know that I am the creator and owner of the Charlotte Mason curriculum, A Gentle Feast. And so how do I balance that and all the hours it takes to run your own business with also homeschooling 5 children? Well, I'm only homeschooling 3 now because 2 of them are out of the house and adults. But for a long time, I did have all 5. So I get asked that question a lot. And so I wanted to do this episode because I know that there are more and more of you that are also homeschooling while running your own home-based business. Part of that could be due to economic factors. In today's world, it is really unrealistic a lot of the times for someone to have a solo income where they can support just one income earner in the family. And so as a homeschool parent, you're also juggling some kind of home-based business in a way to help support your family's income. Some people, it might be out of necessity. I mean, I'm a single mom, and there's a lot of homeschooling single moms out there who honestly don't have a choice and they still want to be homeschooling. So having some sort of home-based business allows them to support their family while also still homeschooling. Some of you, it might just be that you have a passion and you have something that you really love doing and you don't want to either stop doing it to start homeschooling, or while you were homeschooling, this passion kind of developed and you want to be able to do that and have a business at the same time you're homeschooling. So whatever the reason, I just first off want to say that homeschooling while running your own business is a wonderful match. Depending on your reason, some of you might feel like a little stressed out about what it is that you're doing, or how do I balance this all, or this is too overwhelming, it's too much. And so hopefully today, some of the tips that I'm going to share with you will help with that. But I first want you to kind of work on your mindset for a little bit here around it. To me, having a home-based business in homeschooling provides amazing opportunities and blessings. And I'm always encouraging you guys to find the good. And so having a home-based business provides amazing blessings that you wouldn't have otherwise. So first of all, it provides you an opportunity to teach your kids about entrepreneurship. I think this is the biggest benefit there is, because in today's world, you don't know what career your children might end up doing. And being able to do some of these business practices, whether it's bookkeeping, marketing, order fulfillment, coming up with product ideas, it's so great for your children to see you do that. So involve them, depending on their age, have conversations about things that are going on in your business. I think it's great for our kids to see us as the homeschool parent pursuing things that we really love, to kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit and being able to share with them, like, oh, I have this idea, I'm going to try this thing. And before I started A Gentle Feast, there were lots of things I tried. There was one point where I was actually making hair bows, which I now find hilarious. I was making hair bows and going to the little boutiques in my southern town because, people like to put these big bows on their girls down here in the South. And so I was literally making these hair bows in my house and taking them. And, I came up with this concept and this product idea, and I get, to show my kids that you can take ideas and turn them into a reality to make a profit with it. Obviously didn't keep doing that business, but that doesn't mean it was a failure. It just was an opportunity to learn and grow. And so modeling that for your kids by having your own home-based business is so just such an amazing gift. I really do feel like it is such a blessing for our kids to see that and for us to be able to model that for them in our homeschool. It also gives you opportunity for your kids to be involved. For a while there, my kids were helping me, fulfill orders for a Gentle Feast for years until I got my own warehouse. So they were, learning kind of these life skills of how to have a job, how to do different tasks. So involve your kids. My kids were going to conventions with me and seeing how I set things up and how I did my talks and how I talk to my customers. Like, they are learning so much, even just by watching you do your business. But if you involve them, they're learning so much more that is going to help them in their lives. So having your own home-based business, again, I feel like it just provides this amazing opportunity. So see it as the gift that it is and kind of think through, how can I involve my kids more? How can I try to teach them some of these entrepreneurship skills, some of these tasks that are involved with running a business that are going to help them in their future, and see it as a gift and an enhancement to your homeschool rather than something that's taking away from your homeschool. I think that is really important. Okay, so let me go in now to what are some of my tips for having a home-based business and homeschooling. So first of all, you can just toss this notion about balance out the window. I don't think there is such a thing. I think really what balance means and what it comes down to is do the work in the time that you have allotted for it. Multitasking doesn't work. Trying to work while you're homeschooling doesn't work. Your attentions are divided. And I learned that the hard way early on when I was trying to go on Facebook and answer customers' emails, or not customers' emails on Facebook, answering customers' questions on Facebook, or answering customer emails at the same time I'm trying to listen to my kid read their geography lesson. I wasn't paying attention. They were getting frustrated with me because they can obviously tell I wasn't paying attention. And so do the work during work times and do the homeschool during homeschool times. Trying to multitask will leave you feeling very frustrated, and it will feel like your life is out of balance. So having dedicated hours that are for your work and for your business, obviously things happen, right? And there might be seasons where you're having to put in more work than normal or change your schedule or those kind of things because it's life. But on a regular basis, having your set work hours and setting your set homeschool hours will really help. Have kind of knowing how you work best. Are you an early riser person? I do my best creative deep work in the mornings before my kids get up. So, I have my little morning routine and my self-care and the things I'm doing to nourish myself. And then I might sit down and plan out podcast episodes or write a blog post or come up with some new product idea. I do that best in the morning. I'm not an evening person. I'm a go to bed by 10 o'clock kind of person. So knowing when you do your best work is really important. And then in the afternoon is when I do some more of my admin kind of work or my admin tasks for my family and blocking it out that way. Another really big key is having set school hours. So if your school is taking all day long, you're not going to have time for work and you're going to feel really like you're balancing too much at one time and you have too many plates in the air, so to speak. So having and using the Charlotte Mason approach really helps with this and following her short lessons and her timetables, because then you are able to finish school by 1, 2 o'clock early in the afternoon. And then I do my work after that. It's also really important to teach your kids boundaries. So when you're working from home, and again, there's seasons for this. So if you have really young children, this is going to be harder than if they're, more elementary age of this is my work time and I cannot be interrupted, and teaching them that. You might even make a little sign, like the do not disturb signs for hotels that you put on your door if you're recording or something like that. My children got me a neon sign that says on air. So it's on the door outside my office. So I turn it on before I record a podcast like this one, so that they don't come in here and be like, Mom, I need help with la la la. And then I have to stop the video and edit that out and all that stuff. So again, now they're very much, trained in that routine. But at the beginning, it was training them in that these are my work times. This is what I can be interrupted for. Are you bleeding? Are you on fire? Those kind of things versus, Timmy took the cup I wanted for snack. Like, I don't need to be interrupted for that. And kind of teaching them to kind of manage their own needs during that time, teach them how to manage some of their own conflicts, and or even, put some sticky notes outside your office. Write down what you need me for, and I'll make sure I check those when I'm finished. And again, it depends on your kids' ages. Obviously, you can't leave young children to fend for themselves, but teaching them the boundaries to respect your work time and the time that you need to focus. And I think that's really important. I think it is, again, one of those blessings of having a home-based business, because it does teach your children to kind of learn to do some things. Well, mom is a meeting, so okay, I'm going to make my own lunch. For mom put peanut butter and jelly out, I can figure out how to do this. They can learn some more independence, how to load the dishwasher, things like that. And again, you want to train your kids in these things. If you are having a home-based business, I hate to break it to you, but you can't do everything yourself in your business or in your home. So training your children to help you is so key. Learning to delegate in your work and in your home is going to save your sanity. So when it comes to work or it comes to home, thinking through what are the tasks that I don't need to be doing? Can somebody else do this? Can I train one of my kids to load the dishwasher? Okay. Can I train somebody else to post on Instagram for my business or whatever it is, or answer calls, or, getting to that point where you are able to start to delegate some of those. And it might be that you're paying someone to come and help fold the laundry, or you're paying someone to help come clean the house, or you're paying someone in your work to post on Instagram. But if that's not a reality yet, and you're not to that place, you can barter, you can trade, you can get, another high school teenager to come over and play with your kids so that you can have 2 hours of focused attention so that you can do your work. So be creative. I think oftentimes we're like, oh, I can't do that, or I can't afford that, rather than going, how can I do that? How can I afford it? And asking more empowering questions that will lead to more creative results. Another key for having a home-based business and homeschooling is to see opportunities for homeschooling all the time. So, Charlotte Mason says, education is life. We're always learning and growing. So school doesn't have to happen between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Okay? We can do our nature walks on the weekends. My kids can be in choir and learn solfa there. We can have Friday night movie night, and we can bring in a movie about the historical time period that we're learning about. Or we could have a baking session and bring in some math. See all these little opportunities for learning that are happening all the time, and get out of the mindset that school can only happen during this time. And you may have to be creative, like I was talking about with delegating. Okay, there might be a homeschool mom down the street who's super awesome at crocheting, and you want her to teach your kids that, and you're going to teach her kids geography or whatever it is. There's so many resources that you can pull from. Again, it's a blessing. I really do feel like that about having your own business. It can force you to ask for help. It can force you to be creative. It can force you to delegate. It can force you to ask other moms for input. But your kids are getting the blessings of having these other people, rather seeing that as a negative thing and oh no, I really wanted to be the one to do that. You can't do it all. And so allowing those other people to help you, it models for your children that we are part of this community, and that it's okay to be part of the body of Christ and ask people for different things. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, to barter, to trade, to do creative things in order to meet your kids' educational needs, maybe in a way that you never thought of before. You also want to teach your children to be independent. So when they're young, early elementary age, that is obviously not what I'm talking about here, because you're going to be teaching them how to read. You're going to be teaching them math. You're going to be so much more hands-on. And so that might mean that you have to hire another homeschool teenager or trade with a mom or something like that so that you can have time to work. Today's episode is brought to you by A Gentle Feast. A Gentle Feast offers a complete living books curriculum, an award-winning early reading program, and more tools to equip you to apply Charlotte Mason's timeless philosophy into your modern homeschool. Go to agentlefeast.com to check it out. Smooth and easy days are closer than you think. But when they're older, you can teach them to do some more of their work independently. do that gradually, but there's so much available now. There's so many different things you can outsource. There's so many digital planners and tools that you can set up to kind of train your children to work independently. Again, it's a gift. Don't see that as a negative thing. See it as a gift that they are learning to manage their time. They're learning to be accountable. They're learning to do these things on their own. But follow up with them. I do see a lot of times parents who are working from home, they'll give their kid, okay, here's a list of all the things you need to do at the beginning of the week. And they expect like their 10-year-old to be able to do all of it. And that's not really realistic. You need to kind of help break it down for them, help give them timetables, okay, this can be done in a day. At first, I would plan their day out for them. And then have them in your line of sight. You can be working and they can be doing their thing. Like I said, multitasking can be really hard. But if they're older and they are able to do some more things independently, it might be you start off with 20 minutes a day of them doing something independently where you could still see them and keep them accountable. At the end of the day, you do want to check up on them. Have them narrate to you orally, or have them voice text their narrations to you, or have them type them and email them to you if need be, depending on your work schedule. But there's so many creative ways to do that. But don't put too much burden on your children too soon. I see that a lot of having them do too much independently. Keep them accountable, check on them daily. And then if they show you that they're able to do these things independently, then you can gradually give them more subjects to do. Or you can, wait and check it at the end of the week or later. But at the beginning, you really want to gradually release that responsibility for them to be independent. One subject, keep them accountable. And then as they show that they are capable, then you can add more. Owning your own business brings its own set of unique challenges and circumstances. It can bring up all sorts of emotions. Having to grow and stretch yourself. Like, I knew nothing about business when I started this. I just knew a lot about education and how I wanted kids to learn and stories and books. But I had to learn a lot about business along the way. I always say that having your own business is the greatest personal development plan ever, because it will force you to grow and stretch in ways you never thought possible. But that can also be very draining. And so having your own home-based business and homeschooling, you need to prioritize your self-care. I cannot say that enough. Eat nutritious food, get enough rest, move your body. You have to be on your A game all the time. So you have to have enough energy to be able to focus on these tasks, to be able to do these things. Having my own home-based business has been a blessing because it's forced me to take care of myself, which I wasn't before. It's also forced me to learn time management skills and how to use digital calendars and how to plan out my days, which I used to be like, oh, loosey-goosey and just do whatever because I had the time and it didn't matter. But now, because my time is so precious, it has forced me to be really on top of time management. And I have another podcast episode about that if you want to check that one out. But it's actually a blessing. I see it as that because it has forced me to learn these skills that I might not have learned otherwise, but I'm so glad I do. And so you have to take care of your own body, heart, soul, and mind. It is not a negotiable. So put that on your calendar. Make sure you are taking time to rest, to move your body, to feed your mind. Owning your own business. There's so many great, business podcasts out there and business courses you can take. And sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming and you have too many voices. So you kind of need to prioritize that. But think about how you can creatively do that. Like, I can listen to a business podcast while I'm walking, or I can do that while I'm in the car. And my kids are like, do we have to listen to this? And I'm like, yes, this is teaching you very important skills here. This is part of your school too, right? For you to learn marketing and learn customer service and learn these kind of skills. I want you to be listening too, because someday you never know, you might need to know how to do these things. So it can be part of school as well. It's growing your mind and helping you in your business, but it's also helping teach your kids some entrepreneurial skills. So you're all growing. It's a win-win for everybody. Another thing that has really helped me in having my own home-based business is this concept of batching. So that is when you do tasks together. So this can be with your business, this can be with your homeschool, this could be with your home chores as well. So let me give you an example. So for homeschooling, it could be, okay, we're going to do all the messy stuff on Tuesday afternoons. We're going to do our art project, we're going to do the science experiment. So then I know I only have to clean up once a week. batching. Those go together. For household tasks, it might mean that I'm going to batch all my errands in one afternoon as well. So I only have to put a bra on like once a week. No, I'm gonna do my makeup, or I'm gonna batch like podcast episodes. I do that a lot. So that again, like I only have to put on makeup for that 1 week. And then I'll do that also with my business. Like I said, I'll batch certain tasks together. So if I'm going to like do some writing, I'll try to do all my writing in one swoop, or all my podcast episodes in 1 week. So what are you currently doing? You can even just write it all out. And which of those tasks go well together that you could do those in a bigger chunk. So then your brain isn't constantly being, I'm working, now I'm cleaning the house, now I'm doing this homeschool thing. Again, doing like tasks together will really help with that feeling of being overwhelmed and having too many plates and doing too many things. So look at your week and how can you batch like tasks together, either for your business, for your homeschool, or for your home, so that you could do them all together and you're not constantly doing what they call content switching, which is doing a whole bunch of different tasks all the time and using too much energy. One of the other blessings that I see from having a home-based business is it models for my children that they don't have to have a typical 9-to-5 job, that you can be creative and have a business doing all kinds of sorts of things. So teaching my own kids to follow their own pursuits and their own interests. My older two girls, when they were in high school, had their own photography business. So as your kids get to be in high school, they may be helping you in your business, which is such a blessing. And it's teaching them such important skills, but you can also encourage them to start their own business. What are something that they are interested in? Can they learn more about it? And can they use that skill or the thing that they're making or the service that they offer and use that to make a business as well? And last but not least, if you are considering having a home-based business in homeschooling, I cannot stress this enough. Do not try to do school at home. Your children do not need a bunch of textbooks and workbooks for every subject. Every kid doesn't need their own complete set of different resources. Do family style learning and try to combine as much as you possibly can. And then for their independent subjects, having them read living books and having them narrate or tell you back what it is that they learned from that is going to save you a ton of time and energy. So the Charlotte Mason approach and a gentle feast is perfect for that because it allows your children to have this short, focused attention. So school does not take all day long, but it's also actually really teaching them to think critically, to think deeply, to think outside the box, which is why I love this approach to education so much. And that's going to help them if they want to have an entrepreneurial experience someday and have their own business doing whatever. But it's also going to help you. That's the biggest gift I've seen from a Charlotte Mason education is it's changed me as a person. But the two go so well together. So trying to do school at home, if you're doing lessons that are taking too long or requiring too much of your time to teach them to your kids and not letting them come to the books themselves and learn from themselves once they're old enough to read those things, it really is going to make it a lot harder to have a home-based business. So I really feel like a Charlotte Mason education is a perfect fit for an entrepreneur who may think outside the box themselves, but it's also a perfect fit in terms of time management and managing your homeschool while also doing your business because it makes it so much easier to get your readings and your schoolwork done. But again, think outside the box. Learning is happening all the time, which again goes back to what Charlotte Mason says of education is the science of relations. Education is life. And you're learning and growing all the time, and seeing that as quote unquote school and as part of your educational plan will really make having a home-based business that much easier. All right, so just to recap, here are a few of my tips for running a home-based business while homeschooling. Number 1, involve your kids in your business as much as possible for their ages. This will teach them amazing entrepreneurship skills and will also give you support. Number 2, learn to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. That's okay. You aren't made to. So whether it's home tasks, whether it's homeschooling, whether it's business tasks, look at what's on your plate and think about what can someone else do that I don't need to be doing. Number 3, learn to set boundaries and manage your time. Again, that goes back to not being able to do it all. Okay, train your children to respect your work time and your workspace. Teach your children to do some of their homeschooling independently as they are able. And then learn time management of setting blocks of time, batching, those kind of skills. I use something called time blocking to really help manage my time so I'm not constantly being torn by home and homeschooling and work. I have set times for those different things. Number 4, use a holistic approach to education where you're using real books and you see that learning can take place in many different places and in many different ways. Number 5, take care of yourself. Make yourself a priority. You're going to need the energy, the focus, the health in order to have a thriving homeschool, home, and business. And last but not least, work on your mindset. Remember that having a home-based business truly is an amazing blessing. Not only can it provide financially for your family, but it can teach you and your children so many important life skills. So see it as the blessing that it is, and I hope you have a very successful homeschool and business. Thanks for listening. Hey, let me summarize today's episode. So if you are working from home or starting your own home business, here are some tips that will help. Number 1, involve your kids in your business. Incorporate your children into your business activities as much as possible. This not only teaches them valuable entrepreneurial skills, but also provides you with additional support. Sharing your business journey with your children models the spirit of entrepreneurship and allows them to learn through real life experiences. Number 2, delegate and outsource. Recognize that you cannot do everything on your own. Whether it's household chores, homeschooling tasks, or business responsibilities, identify areas where you can delegate or outsource. This helps you manage your time and energy more effectively, ensuring that both your business and homeschool thrive. Number 3, set boundaries and manage your time. Establish clear boundaries between work, homeschool, and life. Use techniques like time blocking and batching like tasks to allocate specific times for different tasks, minimizing the feeling of being pulled in multiple directions. Teach your children to respect your work, time, and space, and gradually introduce them to more independent learning. Number 4, embrace a holistic approach to education. Adopt a flexible, holistic approach to homeschooling that integrates real books and real-life experiences. Recognize that education can happen anytime, anywhere, not just within traditional school hours. This mindset allows you to see opportunities for learning in everyday activities, making it easier to balance business and homeschool responsibilities. And last but not least, prioritize self-care. Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being is non-negotiable. Ensure that you're eating well, getting enough rest, and moving your body regularly. Prioritize self-care to maintain the energy and focus needed to both juggle your home-based business and your homeschool. I hope these were helpful. Thanks for listening. Hey there, Julie Ross here. I just wanted to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like this show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a positive review in iTunes. This really does help people learn about the podcast. And each month I will pick a winner to receive a free gift. Don't forget to check out all the free resources we created for you at thefeastlife.me. Thank you.